Housekeeper had no idea she was being filmed. What he captured shocking. If we thought about all misunderstand or crimes that committed by housekeepers or maid, or even nannies through the history, we'll have an endless tales of bloody or criminals. However, our world today with technology can tell us the missing puzzle in every situation. We are sailing humans' mysterious actions that we cannot explain their cruelty or their suffering. Let's go. Knee pads and some sort of back brace are good investments. You will destroy your knees and back if you are not careful. Also, use some sort of moisturizer on your hands because handling sheets and towels for hours each day will dry out your hands. It is also a good idea to learn how to do hospital corners when making up beds because that seems to be the standard across all the hotels I've either worked at or stayed at. It just looks neater. Be prepared to work hard. Housekeeping has to be the hardest job at a hotel. Sure, you're not dealing with guests like front desk agents do, but you're doing one of the most physical jobs there is at a hotel. And don't let folks push you around. You also have one of the most important jobs at a hotel because if it weren't for housekeepers, they wouldn't be able to sell those rooms to incoming guests. Being a housekeeper isn't a career most people seek or would wish for their children. It barely pays the bills and nothing more. Be a housekeeper if you're okay living from paycheck to paycheck. If you like working hard to barely survive, I would recommend being a housekeeper. If you enjoy unrecognized manual labor without many opportunities, then housekeeping is for you. Housekeeping is one of those terrible and overlooked jobs that nobody wants. If you have the choice, then for your sake, please find something better than housekeeping. A domestic worker was on Wednesday, March 9, jailed for slapping, hitting, and kicking a 2-year-old boy until there were bruises on his back. May then 030 pleaded guilty to one charge of ill treatment under the Children and Young Persons Act. She was jailed for 9 months, the sentence sought by the prosecution. The court heard that the domestic worker, who was from Myanmar, was employed to do household chores and care for the victim and his 2 siblings. Around 8:15 p.m. on June 15 last year, she was folding clothes in the victim's bedroom when she noticed a foul smell. She saw that the toddler had soiled his diaper and that feces were smeared on his hands and toys. Angered, the accused scolded him naughty boy and slapped his face several times, causing him to fall to the ground. The boy was in tears. She continued to hit him multiple times. He lay on the ground, first with a fresh diaper, then with a towel. The woman then told the boy to go to the bathroom. He stood up, but when he started to walk in the wrong direction, she was further angered. She used the towel to hit his face once, then hit him with her right hand, whereupon he fell to the ground. While he was on the ground, she kicked him once with her right foot. The woman then took the toddler to the bathroom, pushing him in and then using a clothes hanger to hit him twice on his back. The child's parents were not at home during the incident. Court documents did not specify how the case came to light, but said that the boy's parents brought him to the hospital on June 18 and that the police were alerted to a case of child abuse later that day. A medical report by the hospital noted 2 bruises measuring about 1 centimeter by 3 centimeters and 1 centimeter by 7 centimeters over the victim's back. The accused's ill treatment of the boy was partially captured by cameras in the home. She could have been jailed 8 years, fined up to $8,000 or both. What happened to this family was a crime. A 10-year-old housemaid, simply known as Onyanyeki, was brutally beaten and sent away after she was caught peeping at a couple while they retired to their matrimonial bed at night. The incident happened at Adikoroy Street in a Jigbo area of Lagos, where the couple resided with a maid and their children. The maid claimed that the crying of her madam, Mrs. Esther, surname withheld, whenever she retired to their matrimonial bed with her husband usually woke her up at night, and she tried to find out. She said that she had thought they used to fight and sought to gain access to the room to separate them, but the door was always locked from inside. It was gathered that the couple expressed their surprise when the wife caught Onyanyeki standing in front of the linked door between their 2-bedroom apartment at about 1 a.m. According to Mrs. Esther, she opened the door to check the condition of their children who had already gone to sleep with Onyanyeki before they retired to their bed. She said that she was surprised when she opened the door and met Onyanyeki standing in front of the door at that hour. She suspected her, threatened, and she confessed. It was gathered that the couple who got married some years ago and had 2 children agreed to look for house help to assist the wife in domestic works. The wife then contacted her mother, who resided in Onitsha, Anambra State, to help look for a house help for them, and Onyanyeki was brought to them in February 2018. The couple never knew that the little girl had not been sleeping because of their activities in the bedroom, which usually woke her up. They got to know when the wife caught her and insisted to know why she was still awake at that hour of the night after threatening to kill her if she did not reveal that. It was then that the girl opened up. She said that since she came to the house whenever they were fighting, that she was always peeping through the keyhole to know how they were fighting, but could not do anything because the door was always locked. Her madam asked her what she thought they were doing at that period, and she replied that she had always thought that her husband was beating her. Mrs. Esther broke down, gave her serious beating, but she was prevented from further assaulting her by her husband, who sent her back to her mother-in-law and informed her that they do not need such a maid. This was a horror moment for whole family. The horrifying moment a mom allegedly caught a babysitter trying to suffocate her baby was captured on a home security camera. Police arrested the 18-year-old nanny after footage appeared to show her holding a cloth over the crying 5-month-old's face for 10 seconds as he kicked his legs. The mom, who in the same room, noticed what she was doing and is seen rushing over to intervene. The teenager told her employer she was only trying to wipe the tot's nose. But the mom grabbed her son and locked herself in the bathroom while she called police in Cruzeiro Velho, Brazil. The 33-year-old civil servant explained she stayed in the room as it was only the nanny's second time looking after the baby, and she wanted to keep an eye on her. The baby's mother said, as reported in the news portal G1, "I was scared. I didn't believe a human being was capable of doing such a thing." He was suffocated twice. The suffocation leaves no obvious after effects, but it can result in neurological complications. Footage showed the nanny first trying to put the baby in a pushchair. He cried, so she lifted him out and laid him on a sofa. She is then seen apparently placing a cloth over his face for around 10 seconds. The child was taken for a medical checkup and had no visible injuries, police said. The teenager's CV says she has previous experience in a nursery and a kindergarten, according to reports. She told police the baby coughed up some fluid, so she was using the cloth to clean his face. She denies mistreatment. The investigation continues. This was a creepy moment. A man has claimed that his maid had become possessed by evil spirits after she started staring wide-eyed and acting bizarrely around the house. But when homeowner Nurul Baker looked back at CCTV footage inside his family home, he was shocked to see the woman creeping around in a white dress and walking in a zombie-like state. In the footage, she can be seen with her long hair dangling around her face with her head bowed, and in time she seems to point at non-existent things in the distance. The footage shot at Nurul's apartment in Singapore went viral, with some viewers terrified and others believing the maid was faking so she could leave the job. Nurul said, "My maid got possessed by a ghost in my flat after she came out of the shower. It's lucky Mum and kids were not home." But viewers believed the black-haired maid had staged the haunting footage to try and return to her home country. Justin Chen said, "Did you notice she does this at where the camera is facing? She's not doing it near the balcony or partially hidden. She knows where the camera is facing, and she wants you to see this. Still, it is unsettling to know your maid does this. It seems she doesn't want to work for you anymore. Better let her go. You do not want her to escalate her antics in order to leave your employment. I'm sure you do not want her to spike your drinks or food." Enzo Lumpkins added, "This kind of fake possession's very common. Don't fall for it. My maid did it previously, and she confessed that this was what all the other maids told each other to do if they wanted an exit strategy.